All right, welcome back. So today I want to show you an exercise that I did to help me sort of learn the notes on my fretboard. We've been talking about a lot of fretboard theory lately, and most of you out there that are beginning, you'll at some point, once you've got your guitar foundation down and you're comfortable playing chords and you're learning to play songs, eventually you're going to, well, what's the next step? And as we've talked about before, the next step is actually picking out notes, playing little accoutrements, making up your own solos and riffs and things like that. And to do that, you need to be able to play notes within a key because then they're obviously it's going to sound right. And when you do that, there is no right or wrong. If you play the right notes from a key, you can play any notes and it'll all sound good. They may not sound like the exact solo you're trying to replicate, but as a freewheeler, everything you play along to will sound right if you use certain notes. So the way we start that, right, we learned from the videos is we made our boxes based on harmonic sounding notes that we picked out from listening to a chord progression or a song on the radio. Now, what I did was I would use a looper pedal, okay? And I'll talk more about that after. And I have one chord on it. In this case, it'll be a G. It could be an A, a C, a D, whatever you want. I just chose G. And when we play the G on the looper, my goal is to go and find all the different G notes on my fretboard. Okay, and we're going to keep it from the double dots to the neck just to make it easier. I mean, if you want to do here, this is the same as here, just a smaller scale. You're more than welcome. Okay, but for the most part, I'm just going to keep it up here for now. All right, and you don't have to be fast, but your goal is to get fast. Maybe even set a stopwatch at some point and make little records and try to beat your own records, right, of how many G notes you can pick out, how quick you can find them over this G chord progression. So what I would do is I would start the looper and then basically just play the notes wherever I find a G. Now, why am I doing this? Well, of course, as I mentioned, it helps me identify where those notes are. So after a little while, I don't have to, I just know if I look at a certain spot, I know that that's a G, okay? The other thing we're doing is ear training. So when we're trying to find the key of a song in one of the videos that we did back when, was we noodled around until we found that harmonic note that we hit that sounded perfect with the chord progression that was playing or the song we were listening to on the radio. And then we built our little 4-note box off of that, right? So this will help train your ear to know what sounds right and what doesn't sound right with the chord that's on the looper. So right now, what I'm going to do, before I start the looper, I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing on the fretboard, okay? All right, so we're nice and close, good tight shot. I am going to start the looper, and we're going to start finding our G's in no particular order, okay? You can take any order you want. The most important thing is that you learn where the G's are, okay? Here we go. So that's my G playing. That didn't sound right. That did. You see how you can tell, right? All right, so I think you get the idea. Then what you want to try to do is just get faster and faster and faster so you get to the point where you really don't have to think too much about it. You just know where everything is, right? That's what you want to get to. and just keep getting faster and faster. And we want to do this with every note in every chord. Now, once you get comfortable with that, the next thing would be to add a second note. So if you remember, when we built our box, we went up 2 frets from whichever we identified as our key note. So in this case, it's G. So we're going to incorporate the A and give us a little more room to make little melodies now. Okay, so check this out. And the same thing would apply. You can make a game out of it. You can try to get quicker and quicker and quicker and so on, all right? And of course, we want to do this in every key. So to give you an idea, we'll start a new looper, okay? And we'll just lay down an A, let's say. So there's our A, right? Same thing. Then we would go, the next note with the A would be, so it'd be like an A, B we would play, right? So we would go. So again, it's a great little practice routine, and within no time, you're going to start identifying notes right away. As soon as you look at that board, you're going to see a G or an A or a C or a D, and that's really all you need. You need that starting point to get around, because as we talked about in previous videos, we have ways to know what note comes after, what note is below, and what note is above, because they don't change on the fretboard, right? Okay, so as far as the guys that want to know more about looping, all right, so you get to a point in your guitar playing where you're going to need to start playing along with someone, and that's not always possible. And when it is, it's not always available every day, unless you have a sibling or someone in the same household that's also playing guitar. So by using a looper, we can do things like simply, what do we do here? We put an A, right? So we could do, we don't have to pick out notes. We can practice our strumming along, okay? So you're playing an A here, I might play an A here. Okay? We might also want to do something like this. We might want to do maybe a chord progression, right? So we could do something like A, C, now we got 3 chords going on. Just to be able to play along. Make sure that you're in time. Just make sure you're in time, right? Really, really helps. And then all of a sudden when you are out somewhere and you're playing along, it doesn't seem so foreign. And I know some of you can relate to this when you gone so far in your guitar journey and then you've sat down with someone or you've been in a room or an open mic bar or something and someone starts playing along with you, it freaks you out and you stop or you get all kind of discombobulated, right? And it throws you off. Well, because it's foreign to you, right? It's new to have someone playing with you. So the whole looper thing gives you a chance in the comfort of your and privacy of your own home to be able to play along with someone else, okay? Now, there's looper pedals on the market. I have a video that shows the one that I started with called a Ditto looper. You might want to check that out. It explains it. It's a very simple pedal. And there's even more reasonable pedals I've seen like on Amazon for, $60 kind of thing. That's all you need to get going, okay? To get that, you're basically adding a second guitar player, okay? So, all right, I hope you find this exercise interesting. It's not for everybody because, again, if you're going to stay within your means and learn your foundation, play chords and songs, and that's all you ever want to do, that's fine, okay? But for those of you that want to add to your repertoire, adding a looper pedal and starting these kinds of little exercises, learning your notes on your fretboard, training your ear to know what's a good note and what's a bad note to play, these are all invaluable little lessons moving forward, okay? So again, if you like what you see or hear, by all means, hit subscribe and follow along for the ride. Welcome your comments, suggestions, questions, requests, all that kind of stuff. Send them along and try to answer everything I can, all right? So remember, it is all about the practice, and we'll see you later.